Hi there. Today I would like to introduce you to Catan, the card game. It's a card game for 2 to 4 players. So you can play with two, and then you have to take out cards with the three or the four persons in it. And these are mentioned at the bottom. So you have to take out these cards if you want to play with two players only. It's also a rather quick card game, maximum 30 minutes or less, and there are also a lot of limitations within the card game. In this game, you have only 9 roads and also few knights. So, what's the deal with these things, with these cards? Uh, I mean, whenever these decks run out of cards, you have to steal them from another player. You can buy them off, and the other player who sits next to you, or the next to the next one, if the next one doesn't have any streets or knights, will have to give them to you, but he doesn't get paid. The payment is done to the market. So let's start with the game, and I will introduce you how to set up and how to play a little bit, and then you can play yourself. I'd like to introduce you to the setup of the game. Here we have the deck for which you have to draw a card. Then there are 4 little decks from the different kinds of buildings you can buy or build. We have a road, a settlement or a village, and city expansion, and also the knights. You can see at the bottom of each card you directly gain a victory point whenever you buy this settlement. Then you already have a victory point. The maximum number of victory points is 10. Whenever one person uh, playing the game gains the 10th victory point, then the game is over and this person is winning the game. There's also the matter of the cards. On each card you have a description, and this one is a little bit difficult to read, I think, but it reads that you may flip over the destiny card. This means you have to change turn, so the previous person can take a turn after you. But mentioning this is with may. There are two different kinds of words in this game, may and must. And if there is mentioned the word may, the person who is at the moment doing his turn and making this village or settlement building, he may choose whether or not the previous or next person has to play a turn, and so it's not yet uh, not yet indicated if this is a must. At the beginning of the game, each person gets a road and a settlement. The settlements are put this way, just on the table, and the first road is set on the table with the letter A. If the person buys a second road, then second street, the person gets to put it with the B side on top of the other road, top of the other street, and this means after 2 streets, this person gets a second point after the first point. So this is the way we are building. A third street is put with the A side, the A sides on top of the second one with the B sides, and so on. Um, there is also a differentiation between exchanging cards. Whenever a person has one row in his own buildings, amongst his own buildings, then this person already can change one card, maximum one card. But when he has two rows with the number A visible, number A must be visible, then this person can have two cards exchanged, and so on, with a maximum of three cards. But this is going to be difficult because remember, the knights and the roads can be taken from other persons, so it's quite challenging to keep a road or a knight in your amongst your own buildings. Uh, in the game, to build the different buildings, we have the possibility of five different products, not the end products, but the products you need to harvest, like grain or wool from the sheep, or iron from a mountain, or wood from the woods, or bricks to build a street or a village, a settlement, and this is possible. Um, I can show you the building cost. Each person gets to read a card with the buildings cost, and this is quite interesting because you see that each building has mostly one of each, except the city, and the city expansions are a little bit more expensive, but it still is within reach, within a reasonable reach. So why not? It's an interesting game, and I'm going to explain you a little bit how it works after this setup. Uh, this is the market. I've already put 5 cards, but I will put 5 other cards so you can see this is the market from which you need to play. Okay, I have 5 cards that are the same. I will shuffle them a little bit more. It's okay. You need to see how far this gets shuffled, and then I will put these cards in the market. So these are going to be the first market cards available. This is the card you draw from. This is the card you need to put cards down if you need to swap with the drawing deck. And these are the building cards you can buy or build. Next thing I want to explain to you, you have 3 turns within your own turn. Each round is going to be, first, you can exchange cards. Second of all, you can build these cards. And third, you need to draw new cards from the deck. So that is, in short, the 3 turns you need to do within one round. I will also explain a little bit about the extra limitations of the game, but there are not a few limitations, and the game is also a very quick game. But anyway, you can swap from the moment you have one road available, and it may be possible. It may be possible that someone gets to take away your road, so Then you cannot exchange anything anymore with no one, also not with the market. So this is going to be a problem. But you are having one road available, you can already exchange uh, one road with the letter A with a maximum of three roads with the letter A visible, so you can exchange a maximum of 3 cards. But I don't think most persons are going to be able to keep their roads. Anyway, you can exchange by putting one of your cards on the deck and getting a new one, an invisible card from the drawing deck, and then you have a new card. What's also possible, you can exchange with the market. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are visible, and you can exchange one from your cards. And if you are having your own hand cards, then you have to put one card instead of this one. And I really would like to have the cheap, and I don't like the iron anymore, so I can swap them and have the wool from the cheap. That's a possibility. And the third option in this game is I can ask another player, do you have one brick, do you have one iron, do you have a stone, um, anything, and you can swap one card with the card from the other player. So that's also a possibility. So please be aware that there are 3 options to exchange. Most people tend to believe that or don't dare to ask other person to swap with one of your cards. Dare to ask, it's not a problem. The second thing we are going to do, the second turn in your own round, is going to be you need to build something. If you can build something, it's maybe not possible, then you have to pass. But anyway, you can build a road, a settlement. You can also buy a knight. Then there is the case of the version at the back of the settlement, at the back of the village. Whenever you already have one village in your own cards, among your own cards, and most people already have one settlement at the beginning of the game, you can just swap, just turn over the card, and there is the city, and you need to buy a city with 2 grains and 3 irons. So that's not a problem. 3 stones. Anyway, I would like to explain a little bit more about the things on the city card. There are 2 different explanations. I start with the last one. Flip the destiny card. Whatever that means, you need to change your turn order. So the previous person is going to be the next after you. And the second thing is each player has more than 7 resources. So each player that has more than 7 cards needs to put away. So he only gets to keep 7 cards in his hand. That's what is important about this card. So the person who flips over a city card needs to read this, so every person knows each player who has more than 7 resources must discard and access all excess resources. So only 7 cards are allowed after building the city. whenever it is flipped over, the person who has the city has already 2 points instead of 1 point. Then you can also build a city expansion that's a little bit more expensive. 3 sheep and 1 stone, 1 iron, and you just get to put like this. You have a city in your city in your own open deck, and you just put the city on top of the city expansion, and the city must be invisible because uh, whereas the city gained 2 victory points, the city expansion gets to 3 victory points already. So we don't need that card, you just put it on top of the other cards. That's not a problem. And of course, after you have built the things you would like to build, if you're able to build it, if you're capable of building a lot of buildings, that is fine for me. But anyway, you only are allowed to build one of each of these buildings. One road, one settlement, one knight, or one city expansion. So if there may be people that have too much cards and want to build more roads or more knights, that is not possible. You just get to build one of each. One. Only one. And then after every building is built, you have to draw 2 new cards from the deck. In the drawing deck, 2 new cards. And I need to shuffle my deck a little bit more. So you have more cards in your deck, in your hand cards. And you can start another turn. And that's all what I'd like to explain about the game of Catan. It's quite an interesting game, and this is the new style, the struggle for Catan.